He's going to be taking home over £650,000 every week. It's a 2-year deal as well for Messi. He'll be in the front three of Mbappe and Neymar, which is just terrifying, Ali McCoist. But also, it's going to make me want to watch every week. I'm going to want to see that. Are you?
Of course it is. There's no doubt about it. Listen, if Messi was playing out the back garden, you'd watch him every morning, wouldn't you? He's just one of the...
He could in your back garden, couldn't he?
He is absolutely top class. Listen, and it's interesting to hear all the comments. Of course, there's varying opinions on it. But, you know, the first thing I would say, I think Messi, once he, fully accepts that he's, leaving Barcelona, and clearly it was a massive bind for him, what an opportunity for a fresh new challenge to go and play with some of the greatest players in the world that you've mentioned there. So I think it's very, very exciting.
Reunited with Neymar, Mbappe must be like, oh my God, I've literally got the God to learn from as well.
Oh, listen, it's amazing. It really is amazing. And the one that must be rubbing his hands as well, Sergio Ramos, he must be absolutely delighted. And you look at that side, and I've got to say, I mean, Wijnaldum as well, what a signing that is. I thought he was terrific in the Euros in that side. And, he's obviously a big loss to Liverpool. I mean, you've got to say, I'm saying they look unstoppable. It's amazing to think they didn't even win the league last year.
I know, and Ramos at the back as well. I suppose as well with Poch going in there, he didn't have, it wasn't clean cut when he went in, was it? It was sort of in a bit of a problematic stage anyway. Yeah. So this, I think, is really the season where we would have judged Poch anyway. You might have judged him for that last season as well, and for thinking that it's the league that he should have walked. But there's lots of different factors that come into play now. But this would have been the season that we really fully judge him. And now with all of these players being added, it's even more pressure, isn't it, for him? But my God, to leave Spurs in the way that he did, and that was an emotional exit for him. To be out of the job, to wait patiently for the right one to come along, and for it to be PSG's old team, it's almost romantic the way this has happened for him. And you know what? Some of the best managers in the world, Ali, do it because they've got the best players in the world. You know, you can look at all of them. Pep's worked with some of the most incredible players. Pep's been with Messi. He's worked with some of the most unplayable and incredible players in the world, and then he wins things. So do you think this is Poch's time now?
I think it's going to have to be. Listen, there's a large element of great players make great managers. There's a large element of truth in that. There's absolutely no doubt about it. You've got a far better opportunity with great players than you have with, not so great players. That's just absolute common sense. I know you've got to gel them together and form a team and get tactics and all that stuff, but you're far better playing your hand with some of the best players in the world, and there is absolutely no doubt that Pochettino will be correctly judged on what happens next year. And by that I mean you'd have to think, and it'd be interesting to hear, somebody closer to it than ourselves. Is the French league, does that have to be a given? That you think that has to be a given, don't you?
Yeah. You surely do. You surely do. And taking nothing away from Lille or anything like that.
No, and that has to be a given.
Yeah.
And clearly they're in the same boat as Manchester City in the respect that the one that wants the Champions League.
Mm. Could they do it, Ali?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's interesting, and we spoke about it earlier, Laura. I do find it a little bit strange that Man City are favourites for the Champions League every year. I know it's obviously the betting will be based on the domestic, situation with people that gamble. But at the same time, I still find it a little bit strange. Particularly, I mean, why would you not make Chelsea closer to them in terms of winning the title and indeed the Champions League when they've beaten them the last 3 times? Sometimes it just doesn't. It doesn't seem logical.
I agree, actually, because when we spoke to Coral yesterday, he was saying actually that the odds had already adjusted for Lukaku's incoming move. Yeah. So it wasn't like they were going to... They probably will shorten a little bit more now, but they kind of said that they'd already shortened because he was even linked and having a medical and all that sort of stuff. I think you're right, actually. Is there maybe something in, defending a Champions League and how hard that is to do?
Oh, there's absolutely no doubt about that. Plus, with the greatest respect... the top teams change most years, and the fact that we were talking yesterday and you can get Barcelona and Real Madrid at 16s and 20s and 25 to 1s and things like that, would just tell you where the pendulum is at this moment in time. It's completely swung away from La Liga. That's not to say that they couldn't go and do it, you know what I mean? But clearly the favourites will still be now Paris, Manchester City, Bayern Munich will be up there, I think. But just the Spanish sides have drifted away from the elite in the Champions League in terms of opportunities to win it, it looks like.
We're going to hear from Lille captain Jose Fonte, or Jose, I should say. He spoke to Jim White yesterday. He was on the White and Jordan show, and they asked him about Messi joining PSG, and here's what he had to say.
It's great that the French league is having Lionel Messi, along with Neymar and Mbappe. So potentially we've got the best front three playing in France. But obviously you have to look to the other aspect of the game, Is it really, fair to bring these three guys? Can you count on things that aren't already in your pocket? They are counting on winning the league. It's not guaranteed. They are counting on numerous things that possibly will not happen. How is that allowed?
There you go. What do you think of that, Ali?
I think he's got a fair point. You look at the complete and utter... the reason Messi is at Barcelona is due to the complete and utter mismanagement of the finances of the club in Spain. And it just seems to me, the financial fair play, and I know with the COVID they've changed the rules and all that kind of stuff, but just it is a case of the elite becoming more elite, and the gap between the big boys and the smaller boys is getting greater. It really is, and it's now getting narrower. You think of the teams that are capable of winning the Champions League. Will we ever see a team like Porto win the Champions League again? You've got to say it's very, very doubtful. Certainly not in the immediate future, would you?
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.